interests, right? And they have marketing budgets, and they can do partnerships with other people and put out advertisements, things that Bitcoin can't do. And these are all things that I'm solving with my project, which I'm giving for free to Bitcoin holders. I'm penalizing whales 75%. I'm making it so that Mt. Gox can't claim. I'm putting a referral program in there that pays 20% so that anyone else that has an audience in the space can onboard users into something better for free, and they can all get paid and have margin, right? And I've got audits, which Bitcoin doesn't have any audits. I've got two contract audits and one economics audit. Bitcoin has none of these things. No audits, no bug bounty program, right? Like, you still there?
Yep.
Okay.
I wanted to just let you finish off.
Sure.
But my view is that, again, it's people don't want to. I call this the die on a hill factor, right? Nobody is going to go die on a hill to make Brad Garlinghouse and the Ripple guys rich, right?
They did.
Bitcoin is different.
He was the richest guy in the world in 2017. What are you talking about?
Well, at one point, yeah. But I'm saying people
well, how
aren't
much
going to
was
go
that not enough? Like, is that what should he have aimed higher? Intergalactic richest guy? Like, come on.
Stay rich?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still richer than both of us. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that what he built transfers more volume than anything that either of us has built yet, right? So here's the thing about shit talking other coins. Do you know anyone that lost money transacting on Dogecoin due to a 51% attack? No, you don't.
No,
they're just a fork of Bitcoin.
Right, but I think with that, it's some of these. It's like swimming. It's like that saying, you only know who's swimming naked when the tide goes out, right? Like some of these coins.
Yeah, but this is coming from a guy whose favorite currency just dropped 85% again. Your coin dropped 85% and Dogecoin dropped 95%. So don't appeal to some blue chip extra badass status. You don't have one. You had to roll back your chain. You've had 2 inflation bugs. You're not getting security. You don't even have bug bounty program. You're not going to get an anonymity upgrade. It's not going to happen. You had to lie, cheat, and steal to get SegWit 2x by promising 2 megabyte blocks to get SegWit and then screwing them over and not giving them the 2 megabyte blocks. Do you think they'll fall for that again? Do you think that Coinbase is going to allow an anonymity fork in?
I think you're anthropomizing a lot here, though, because it's not that, Bitcoin went and said, oh, yeah, we'll do 2x and SegWit. There were a lot of people who were just like, no, I want SegWit only. I never agreed to 2x. That was never part of the deal. And so, again, this is one of those things where I guess looking back...
Do you think you're going to get... Okay, so what privacy technology do you think you're going to get in Bitcoin, and when do you think you're going to get it?
So on this point, I think Lightning Network will actually provide a fair amount of privacy. It won't be perfect, but I think it'll be quote unquote good enough, right? So I think likely, if I had to speculate what I believe will come, I think it'll be, at least with the knowledge I have today, I believe we will see Lightning Network used for small transactions and perhaps coin-joined post-mixed Bitcoin transactions for larger transactions that are above that sort of amount. That's
so the answer that you've given is we are not going to get anonymity in Bitcoin, is the answer you just gave. You gave a whole lot of words for other networks that aren't Bitcoin, right? Like the Lightning Network, it is not Bitcoin. It is not in the same repo. It does not have the same developers. It does not use the same port. It does not use the same code. There's no fucking relation, which is why the Lightning Network has had critical vulnerabilities recently that have lost people money in the last 2 months, but Bitcoin hasn't, okay? And if Lightning does work, do you know what other coins it'll work for? All of them, because it's just a bunch of exchanging of time-locked signatures, and that shit works for everybody. So when it works for Bitcoin, it'll also work with Raiden on Ethereum and with state channels and with all these other technologies that are out there. So it's not even a competitive advantage, right? And how late is that project? And when will it actually come out? The point is, we shouldn't even be talking about whether Lightning is good or not, because it doesn't have fuck all to do with Bitcoin. It really doesn't. Right? Like no one's getting it. It is an unrelated technology that has absolutely nothing in common whatsoever, other than fans of Bitcoin tend to be fans of it, and that is all.
But the Lightning Network right now is actually much bigger on Bitcoin than it is on any other coin right now. That's true to say.
But it's also, but it's actually not. Like there's $4 million of Bitcoin wrapped on the Ethereum network with BitGo as a counterparty with WBTC, and there's $6 million in the Lightning Network. Both of those numbers are pitifully fucking small, but the fact that Ethereum even had a larger amount than the Lightning Network at one point. And I would almost guarantee that as time passes, there will be more Bitcoin on Ethereum than there is on actual Bitcoin. because there's so much DeFi going in there, because it allows anyone to build trustless financial instruments that Bitcoin can't. Oh, remember when I told you about Counterparty and Omni? Totally failed. Totally. Go look at their price chart. Pure death for 5 years. Why? Because building on Bitcoin sucks balls, which is now no one fucking does it, because they tried and they failed 100%. Their products worked fine. You wanted to wrap transactions and run them on Bitcoin, you could have.
And maybe they were ahead of their time, and also maybe the usages got priced down by other things rather than those tokens specifically.
Dude, so Omni, the majority of trading volume in crypto is Tether, and they switched from Omni on Bitcoin to ERC20 on Ethereum. You can't get any more clear than that. That's not theory. That's real world people voting with the real world money, and that's over 50%. It's over 33% of transactions on Ethereum are those Tether transactions. So like,
look, I think a lot of this stuff is ultimately, I would say that's kind of, you're kind of pointing to all these sort of peripheral things when,
how is Tether doing more transaction volume than Bitcoin? Peripheral. It's getting its shit kicked in. Bitcoin is getting curb stomped. It's getting fucked up. It's getting annihilated. It dropped 85% and is not doing as much transaction volume as other coins. And his fucking bugs appearing. Like, at what point do you realize that you can do better? It's getting fucked up, mate. The only person that goes publicly and defends it is me. I'm the one that goes on television to defend Bitcoin because I do a good fucking job of it and I don't bullshit about it, right? I'm one of the top 3 or 4 speakers in the world to promote Bitcoin and say nice things about it. How fucking pitiful is that? All right? Like, bro, like where's the actual good shit going on?
I'm not sure I would agree with that. I mean,
okay, so name the top 4. Name the top 4. Name the top 4. Andreas.
Top 4. Well,
Trace Mayer.
Andreas, he would be up there.
Yep, Andreas, Trace Mayer.
Someone like Trace would be up there. Who else? Someone like Safety, he'd be up there.
Dude, he alienates hard as fuck anyone in the world that hears him. He's not a good representative for the brand. People hate him more than they like him. Andreas is a better representative for the brand because he doesn't create enemies as a hobby. He doesn't go out of his way to make enemies.
Look, ultimately, I think it's...
But notice that we're running out of people, right? So like that was 3. Okay, so I would put me in the top 4 there. Who would displace me? Okay, who would displace me?
Well, as in who? When you're saying
who better sells Bitcoin to the public?
Are you saying who's a better salesman of it, or who does a better job
representing? Who does a better job representing Bitcoin in the public eye? I've been on television representing it multiple times. So, like, who's doing a better job?
Melton Meyers did a good job recently.
Yeah, she's done good. Okay. Yep. I'd say she's done very well. Yep.
Yep.
So I would be top 5 at that.
Elise Colleen, if you've seen her, she did a fantastic job.
I haven't heard of
her. Who else?
I think the CoinDesk guys do pretty well, but you don't see them very much.
Yes, I don't know too much about them in particular.
So,
but look,
I'm up there in the top single digits, man. You run out of speakers pretty quick.
Look, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be as sure. But I think let me just talk to a couple of points that I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I want you to, because I'm going to rape all your points. I'm going to rape them all. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait to violate your points. Please go ahead.
Sure. Look, ultimately, I think one way to think of it is like Taj Draja, right? He's one of the authors of the Lightning Network, and he explains it like Bitcoin is the money of enemies, right? So ultimately, it doesn't matter about whether Safety is a nice and fluffy, likable guy. It matters what money is.
That's not true. That's not true, because you require consensus to upgrade the fucking network. And the same consensus that you use to upgrade the network is the same exact consensus you can use to downgrade the network. So just like they double-click the new EXE that cuts their coin issuance in half in about 7 months or 8 months, right? They allow that to happen. They could also just double their issuance instead, right? So like these are socially enforced networks, and having enemies and such just locks the code so that you can't improve anything anymore.
Some would say that's a good thing. And the other thing is also you have to consider the incentive of people who already hold the coin. And also, if you wanted to change Bitcoin, you would need an overwhelming majority. So you wouldn't be able to just like instantly double the supply like that, right? Because most of the already existing holders would not go with that. They would not run that software, and then therefore Bitcoin would not change.
Right. So let's talk about that, okay? If you think that users are as powerful as miners and exchanges, you're 100% wrong. There is a power hierarchy, okay? And when the UASP No 2x movement, which I was a member of and promoted, put the gun to the head of Bitcoin and said, we're not going to allow 2 megabyte blocks, so don't even try it, right? We're not going to signal for them. So everyone started their little nodes that didn't mind crap and then just selected to signal that they wouldn't promote SegWit 2x, right? What that really meant was, if you miners try and push SegWit 2x and push 2 megabyte blocks on us, we will Sybil attack the network and make it appear as though real Bitcoin is this other network.